Yo, what is up, everybody? Your boy E-Man from the Average Joe Sports Network coming at you with another edition of the Unscripted Sportscast. Right here, coming straight and direct. Big weekend. If you guys didn't catch it, I hope you guys go out to our channel, take a look at our Friday Cigars and Sports show with my man Jim from Fan in the Van. We had ourselves a round 2 live episode. We recapped the first round and we gave our takes on the draft, and a great show. Me and Jim over there were doing what we do best, is pissing people off and giving you the most honest and most brutal takes in this biz. So go check that out, bro. Go to my YouTube channel and check out Friday's episode of Cigars and Sports with Jim and Elio, bro, and Jim and E-Man. My man Jim from Fan in the Van. And today I'm here to give you my reactions, takeaways on the Giants. I don't know. I'm going to give you my grade. I'm going to give you my Giants grade on the draft. And I'm also, of course, I'm going to start it off with talking a little bit about Shedeur. I'm going to give you my take on the Shedeur fall. And probably I am, like I said, I am not like these pussy ESPN guys and Fox and Emmanuel Acho and whoever, all these bum, sensitive, the world's gonna end, it's all everybody's conspiracy theory and all that. I don't play like that, but I'm gonna tell you like how it is. I'm gonna tell you for the take what I've seen from Shedeur. Like I said, I'm not an insider like most of these guys who have inside information and they got contacts. Like no, like I'm gonna give you based on what I see, based on the interview Shedeur's, you're able to see from footage what I saw from watching Cam Ward play all year long and why he deserves to be the number 1 pick. And not Shedeur, and why Shedeur fell so bad. We are going to give you that straight up. You know what I mean? So let's start with Shedeur. Listen, first and foremost, let's cut the racist shit again. Every time, someone that you love doesn't get the praise or unfortunately doesn't go as far as you want, then we start picking. And if it's a minority, we start picking the race card, right? Nothing to do about race, man. Whether it has to do based on his last name, that had something to do with it. That has something to do with it. Because he's a Sanders. A quarterback is the leader of that team most of the time, right? He's the guy that leads your folks, your players down the field. A prima donna mentality is acceptable at the position player type, right? A wide receiver, a linebacker, a corner. But a prima donna as a quarterback ain't going to fly well with teams because the quarterback is the most important position, the field general, the guy that directs the offense, the individual that's the reason why they win the championships. Look at Patrick Mahomes, who's been able to win 2 championships back-to-back, went to a 3rd Super Bowl with a bum-ass offensive squad. When owners look at a quarterback, GMs look at a quarterback, it's not just skill. They also look at what kind of maturity this quarterbacks have. They look how they conduct themselves from an interview standpoint. How are these guys going to speak under pressure? Because the pressure is always on the quarterback. You win, you lose, it's always on the quarterback. Skill set. While Shedeur was successful in college, Shedeur played one type of offense from the way to high school all the way to now before he got drafted to the NFL and with the before now he's going to see something completely new that he's never seen before with the Browns. So the game has always been tailor-made for Shedeur. Shedeur's game is always been schemes, short passes, stuff that he could handle. Doesn't have a great ball downfield. All right. They say he's very accurate, but that's college, man. He wasn't playing the best competition in the world either. I'm not saying the kid's a bum. I think there's potential for Shedeur to be a good quarterback in the league, depending on what offense is built around him. And I hate to break it to you, it ain't the Browns. They ain't very successful when it comes to building quarterbacks. The guy that drafted number 1 in Baker Mayfield, who I thought he was overdrafted as well. And people comparing him, well, nobody said anything about Baker Mayfield. Well, Baker Mayfield, hey, I don't think Baker Mayfield bombed his interviews with the teams. Baker tried out. Baker worked out for teams. And not saying that Baker was better than Shedeur at this point, but so far Baker now has a proven track record with playoff wins, playoff success. And even though he went through the whirlwind, Baker is now humbled. It took a little longer for Baker to get humble. It just took a lot sooner for Shedeur to get humble. So number 1, it has nothing to do with the kid's race. I mean, let's take a look at how many players were African-American getting drafted, like 29 out of the first 32. Number 1 pick was African-American and Cam Ward. That's old. That might have happened 30 years ago, 20 years ago. Half of the leagues are African-American minority starting quarterbacks. Or the NFL, I'm talking about, boys and girls. It's a new game. It's a new definition. The new skill set is there, and they're drafting based on that. But Shedeur's fall was also because of his maturity. When Shedeur and Cam Ward were next to each other and film was rolling and these kids were talking about football, one guy's mind was all about football. The other one was a little bit more about his ego, about his rapping career, whatever, his brand. Well, Cam Ward was about football. Shedeur was more about the legendary brand. Owners look at how much football this kid's going to eat, how much football he's going to live and breathe while being, before they get drafted, once they get drafted. Check the box for Cam. Don't check the box for Shedeur. Shedeur is all about the brand. Cam was all about football. Sources said that Shedeur bombed the interviews with some of these teams. That's a big reason to fall. Shedeur holds on to the ball too long, according to scouts. Shedeur cannot make that deep pass. Can't throw the bomb. Sources also say that Shedeur lacked a little bit of maturity. And yes, problem with Shedeur is that it does come attached with a big personality and his father in prime. Great guy, great coach. Yes, I know he played in the NFL and he's a great. But if Shedeur was a quarterback, they wouldn't give a shit. If Shedeur was a wide receiver, teams would not give a shit about his father coming over. It's a position player, not a quarterback who affects the entire offense. And when you have somebody that's going to try to interfere with the way things are ran, and Sanders, who's been coaching his kids since day one, it's going to have a lot to say. And teams don't want the distraction. Let me go back. I want to share this clip. I'm going to react on it. We should do did that little big documentary or whatever, did an interview with Shedeur and Cam, with each other, working out and stuff like that. Well, this actually said a lot of things to me. Ready? Let me just play this clip and then I'll tell you what I'm talking about.
On perfect time already.
Come on, bro, let's make a song. Let's drop one, real shit. I play football. Here we go.
Yeah, it is football.
I play football. You ain't got no hobbies outside of that? I play football. That's the only hobby? I want people to know me as football players. When they search up Cam Wood, we say American football.
On perfect time already.
Come on, bro, let's make a song.
That small clip says a lot, right? About the different mentalities of each player, right? One player was like, yo, come on, brother, let's make a song. He goes, nah, I play football. You don't got any hobbies? He goes, no, I play football. Once they pull up Cam Ward, they're going to say American football player next to him. All right. Big. That says a lot. Come on, brother. Let's make a song. No, I'll play football. None of us were a fly on the wall to see what Shedeur Sanders said behind those closed doors. But if this is a sample size of his mentality and where his mind state is at, yes, that's a problem. I got another clip. And this is a small clip that was flying around the internet today. And I know it's only clips, right? People are, oh, why are you just doing clips? It's important. It's important. Here is Shedeur when he did his combine scouting interview. He got up there. Give me 1 second, boys and girls.
If you ain't trying to change the franchise or the coach, don't give me. So you should know history repeats.
So listen to these words right here. And I got nothing against cocky individuals or kids who have a high confidence in themselves. I actually welcome that. But there's a time and place for everything. Listen to this.
If you ain't trying to change the franchise or the coach, don't give me. So you should know history repeats itself over and over and over. And I've done it over and over and over. So it should be no question why an NFL franchise should pick me. You think I'm worried about what critics say or what people got to say? You know who my dad is? They hated on him too. So it's like it's almost normal. Without people hating, it's not normal for us. So we like the adversity. We like everything that comes with the name. That's why we are who we are.
Let's start again.
If you ain't trying to change the franchise or the coach, don't give me. So you should know history repeats itself over and over and over.
If you're not trying to change the franchise and culture, then don't get me. Adversity, we're used to that. That's what, my last name is Sanders, whatever the case may be. Again, if I'm a guy trying to hire an employee and he's coming in with that mentality, because listen, I own the team, brother. I'm hiring to do a job, but I want you to do it the way that this coach, who's the manager, wants it done, not the way you want it done. Especially when you're fresh out of college. A college graduate is not telling a seasoned manager or an owner of a company how to sell his parts. Now, that person's going to have, before he could tell him how to sell his parts or his product or his service, he has to put in his due. He has to put in the time. You just don't step out of college and be like, yo, you're paying me this much because, I was a valedictorian in college. Summa cum laude. Same thing for Shedeur, because you were a Heisman finalist. It doesn't mean you get to tell the owner what kind of culture you want because your last name is Sanders. These two clips showed a lot of immaturity. Bottom line. A lot of immaturity. Enough said. Stephen A. Smith, please cut the Kaepernick bullshit. Emmanuel Acho, Ryan Clark with this conspiracy theories about, the NFL got it for this young man. No, listen, man, there was a lot of teams that also did not want a quarterback that could hold on to the ball too long or can make the deep ball. A lot of teams didn't want him. There's a lot of teams that didn't pass up on him. Honestly, I thought the Steelers on Friday night, Jim and I were actually I was hoping for the Steelers to pick him up in the third round. But the Steelers wanted to go a different route. There was a running back that they much needed. Who they got first? You know what I'm saying? The Browns, I'm shocked the Browns didn't pick him up in the fourth round. And by the way, you got drafted by the Browns, who have 5 quarterbacks in their roster. 4 of them are active. Deshaun is probably not going to play this year. There's a veteran on the staff and Joe Flacco. And then a, 4th-year quarterback, QB, and Kenny Pickett, who they traded for. So right off the bat, those 2 guys are probably going to be in the roster. Shedeur Sanders is a 5th-round player drafted, 5th quarterback drafted. Guess what, my brother? You better go in there and show out. All right? Better go in there and show out. I know Pops posted right after he got drafted that They're going to be out there working, and, Shedeur doesn't take a back seat to any quarterback. Well, guess what? He's going to take a back seat to 3 of them, including the guy that got drafted before him, which I think Shedeur is a better quarterback than Dylan Gabriel. So you better show in there, man, and show out. And probably try to fight for a third quarterback spot in that Browns team, who's a complete shit show. Who's at the most starting quarterbacks in the history of the NFL, like in the last 20 years, something like that. So, my man, Shedeur's going to a shit show situation, but usually a shit show, if you can ball, if you're a true leader, you will persevere and you can make it into a chicken sandwich. Right now, he has a plate of chicken shit. Hopefully, he can make it into chicken soup. That's right there. And let's end up with the prank call, man. This is messed up, though. I think it's funny, but it's uncalled for. As you all know, this weekend, the son of defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich unintentionally came across the Shedeur Sanders contact that his dad had and his iPad, and he left it wide open while visiting his parents' house. He wrote the number down and prank called Shedeur, which it went viral, as you all saw over the weekend. The Pops, Jeff Ulbrich, was unaware of the data exposure and of the prank call and was made aware only after the fact. The Falcons are pissed off, right? And they do not condone this behavior and send a sincere apology to Shedeur Sanders and his family, who have been in contact with to apologize to, as well as facilitate an apology directly from Jax to the Sanders family. They've also been in contact with the NFL and will continue to coordinate fully with inquiries they receive from the NFL league office. The Falcons are truly sorry, and they are thoroughly reviewing all protocols and updating it necessary to prevent an incident like this from happening again. That was pretty darn funny, but it was uncalled for. It was uncalled for. And that kid is lucky his pops didn't lose his job. So Cooper DeJean was also prank call last year. I think this must be a thing in college. It just prank call certain people that don't get drafted early. It's not part of the hazing part. So, but yep, that's all I got to say about Shedeur Sanders, my friends. All right, that's all I got to say about Shedeur Sanders. Let's talk some Giants football, baby. Welcome to the G-Men, rookies. Welcome to the G-Men. That's what I'm talking about right here. That's what I'm talking about, man. Listen, I ain't gonna lie, baby. I'm excited for next season. Haven't been excited like this in a very long time. But I am excited for next season. Okay? Not gonna bullshit everybody. I'm excited like a mofo. And let's recap this real quick. Number 1 pick. Our first pick in the third, for the third pick, our first pick, Abdul Carter, beast. Jackson Dart. I'll get back to Jackson Dart in a little bit. Darius Alexander, beast. Damn Skattebo, baby, where you at? SAQUON, who? Marcus Embo. Thomas Fidone. Corey Black. Yeah, I mean, we even got a tight end up in there, just like we did last year. I mean, you got to pick up tight ends, man. They just whatever you could do. More tight ends, the better. Abdul Carter, no doubt. We knew that was going to happen. After we signed Russell Wilson and famous Jameis Winston, we knew we were not going quarterback with the first pick. Abdul Carter is going to be a difference maker in this league if he's healthy. We know we've had some health issues. But if it's healthy, this dude is the man. And yes, my friend, you don't get Lawrence Taylor's number. The guy might be a sex offender. However, he is the greatest linebacker the Giants ever had and probably one of the greatest linebackers this league has ever seen. So, no, you don't get that damn number. No, brother. Unlike Warren Moon that gave up his to Cam Ward, that's Houston, brother. I mean, that's Tennessee. That's their problem. Don't fuck around in New York like that. You can't. You just cannot get that number. That's like Legends number, bro. You can't get that. It ain't going to happen like that. Abdul Carter, solid pick. Solid pick. All right. Next, Jackson Dart. I was surprised by this. I was surprised we moved down. We moved up to get Jackson Dart. I think we overpaid for Jackson Dart. We probably would have been there when it was our turn to draft. All right. I think it would have been there, our turn to draft. And I'm only highlighting right now the biggest draft picks. You know what I'm saying? So we might have we kind of shot ourselves here. You know, so I think that was we just got a little anxious for this pick. You know what I mean? But, you know, there's a couple of red flags. I mean, the kid has a good arm, can throw the deep ball. He also can run the football. He's athletic. A lot of the things that you look for in a quarterback in today's age. But again, I think he would have been available when it was our chance to actually pick. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Skattebo in the 4th round. Cam Skattebo in the 4th round. We all know this dude was a touchdown machine in college, which I love. This is probably the most explosive running back we drafted since Saquon Barkley. Let's try, baby. Let's go. Let's freaking go. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. I like that. He was out there late. We got to pick him. And I know he fell down the draft because he's short. He's undersized. And that's okay. You know what I'm saying? That's okay. But I think he's going to be a fit. Trust me, the Giants would have not drafted him. It would have been the 49ers. But I like the Skattebo. Skattebo. Welcome to New York, dog. Another kid who's a little pit bull, bro. We got ourselves a pit bull. We got ourselves not a dog. We got ourselves a pit bull in Skattebo. You know what I mean? Hey. Damn it, come to the next page. I'm trying to. What the hell's going on with this, bro? Having a hard time, man. Let me bring this down here. For some reason, I cannot go to the next slide here, but darn it. Having a hard time with the next slide here. This is messed up. But the Giants plugged holes, right? We took the best available player at 3, which it was Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter, the best player at 3. We overreach a little bit for Jackson Dart, but I think there's promise. Again, after Cam Ward, and including Cam Ward, this draft was very, very quarterback weak. And I think every quarterback after Cam Ward, and probably including Cam Ward, is a 50-50 chance of making a starting rotation or even becoming a productive pro. It was a shitty quarterback draft. Let's make it obvious. Let's not get it twisted here, boys and girls. So yeah. But I like Skattebo in the 4th. And listen, Darius Alexander is a fucking stud. All right. Defensive tackle. We needed that. All right. Marcus Amba, offensive line. Let's go. We needed that. Again, everything after Skattebo is going to be kind of like, let's see if he makes the roster. All the other players. But the first 4 picks were solid. Very solid. I give the Giants an A-. I give the Giants an A- in drafting. It's a lot of excitement in this weird-ass draft. Shout out to my Giants. SAQUON who? Yo, meet Skattebo, baby. The Giants' new pit bull. Let's get that going, baby. Let's go. Let's go, man. And we are talking a little bit about basketball here, man. I'm going to close the show because, it's not a lot going on. But I'm going to close this show, dude, with the Knicks are on the verge of closing this series. Next game, all right. Last night was a great no call. And up 3-1. I mean, it's been a tough series because, man, those Pistons are tough. They're definitely tough. But I also want to talk about another team that is the opposite. You know what I'm saying? That is the opposite in the Lakers. Lakers are now down 3-1. And you know they made splash with the Luka trade. And they went into the winning streak. But at 3-1 right now in the first round, losing to the Timberwolves, who, by the way, have out-toughed the Lakers, outmanned them, outslapped them. I think it says a lot about the toughness of the Lakers. All right. As always, everybody tries to bail LeBron James out. I give him credit. At 40 years old, he's playing at a high level. But one thing he hasn't done at a high level is close out games in his career. And guess what? It's showing again. My God, I can't think of his name now. Ant-Man. Not Richardson. Shit, I can't remember his name. You know who I'm talking about. Ant-Man. I can't think of his name right now. He pushed him around yesterday, inserted his will, said, man, I'm going to annoy you. I'm going to get you out your game. And that's what he did. Typical 90s. That was good old 90s basketball. In the entire second half, the Lakers used the same 5 players for the entire second half. And, Luka was gassed. You know what I mean? Luka was gassed. Have another big game by Luka. But their bench is soft, man. Their bench is low. And the Timberwolves are deeper. Nas Reed, who's been hitting some clutch buckets. DiVincenzo of the bench. All right, Jaden McDaniel. They're deep in addition to the starters. And what they're doing is when they need it the most, they don't have that soft-ass bitch Rudy Gobert in the lineup. So he's not exposed like Luka did to him, like Luka did him last year. All right. Why I can think of Ant-Man right now, the name of the day of Anthony is oh my God. That's killer. I don't know why. It sucks getting old, man. I think I'm losing. Ant-Man Timberwolves. I am going to look it up right now, damn it. Anthony Edwards. Jeez. Anthony Edwards. I don't know why I couldn't think of his last name. But Anthony Edwards has been the best player on both sides on either team. He's been more clutch than Luka. He's been more consistent than LeBron. And the reason why the Lakers are losing, it's because the depth of the Wolves and the youth has been a problem. Last night, LeBron had no choice but to pass it off to Austin Reeves, and that's been LeBron's career. Passing it off to somebody else so they could take the last shot. And that's the reason why he has 4 rings, unlike MJ, who did not shy away from taking the winning game shot. That's a big difference. Timberwolves probably in 6, because I think the Lakers will come back and win game 5. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's 3-1 right now. They'll come back and win game 5. That's all I have today, folks. Short show. As y'all see, you haven't seen Cricket here for a few weeks. Cricket is going to take a break. He's going to do his own solo show for a while. He's got to take a break from the show here and other things he's got going on, but he wants to go ahead and kind of do his own thing and branch out on his own show. And my boy Cricket is always welcome to come on this show and any of my shows anytime he wants, man. And he knows that. So just want to let you guys know that, Cricket eventually will be back and whenever he's ready. But check him out. He's doing his own thing on Rumble. He has the Crick's Corner. Check out his bets. Follow him. He's a good dude. He wants to kind of branch out and do his thing, and rightfully so, man. He deserves the follow. So, but anyway, guys, that's all I got for you this week. Again, check out our latest edition of Cigars and Sports. Me and Jim went ham on this NFL draft, it was like off the cheesy. We did really well. It was a great entertaining show, like always. Gave you our best takes, and we had a blast. Check it out, man. It was a fun show. You know what I'm saying? It was last past Friday. And thank you, everybody, for watching. I will be back next week, like always. Your boy E-Man from the Average Joe Sports Talk Network, signing out for the Unscripted Sportscast. Peace.
Yo!